Well, hey, guys, I'll just tell you this. I really enjoy victories. I don't care what the season felt like, but I enjoyed Saturday night. I hope you did as well. It is TexAgs Rewind. Billy's with us. Buddy, we ended the show with hope is a good thing, and I think we have some hope after that.
What I say, that was pretty profound. Hope is better than hopeless.
Yeah.
And beating LSU is a hell of a lot better than losing to those scabs.
The way they did it, too. LSU didn't give it to you. You took it to LSU.
We're not on radio, right?
No, you can say
A&M beat that ass.
DAT.
They, LSU likes to have their little profane song at the end of the game. I wish the A&M students would have started singing that. I like they played Call in Baton Rouge. I wish everybody would have been down there on the field and started singing something, something, Aggie, something, something. Okay? That fan base, that LSU fan base, the way they behave towards A&M, there's nothing. I think I'd enjoy the Aggies beating them more than I would A&M beating Texas. On Twitter, it's more for like the Texas fans, but I would A&M beating LSU, the way that group acts when they win games, when they beat A&M. I don't think we've reveled in it enough what happened Saturday. By the way, that's by far the worst A&M has beaten LSU since they joined the SEC, and that was an SEC West champion. Second year in a row, by the way, the Aggies have beaten the SEC West champ.
Yep. So we talked about that, obviously, on TexAgs Rewind or TexAgs Radio. We did it on the Go Hour. Billy talked about recapping the 2022 season. Tom Hart was with us. And, of course, Buzz Williams. They had a nice victory on Friday over DePaul. They got SMU coming up next. All that and more. It is TexAgs Rewind. Just a play or two more, and it's a completely different season. But it is what it is. 5-7. It sucks. And, yeah, getting your people on social media want to laugh. Okay, fine, laugh, whatever. People are against us anyway. I'm happy that they won because it does change the way I look at the season, but it doesn't change it in the way maybe some people think. Because I asked that question, does it change your view of the season? All I know is I feel much better today in this offseason based on what I saw Saturday night than I felt for, 11 weeks for the most of the season, right? And I can sell hope now. Now, there are many. It does not erase what happened. There are 24 games of proof that this offense is not very good, right? More often than not, the offense stalls. This entire season, it took the last game of the year to get 30-plus points against Power 5 schools, right? So that is all true. But I can also say we saw Evan Stewart make plays pretty much all season long, but we saw it this past weekend. We saw Moose. We saw Connor. We saw the O-line. We saw Devon. We saw defense. We saw a different kind of spine than we had seen all year.
Hello.
Right? So there was adjustments made. There was execution, all the buzzword. I feel different about the future than I did, and I'm still concerned. Both things can be true.
Yeah, I mean, again, to me, it's in that celebration, there is a measure of frustration.
Yep.
Because you say, where was that all year? And I know there were injuries and things like that, but you still had guys that were injured who weren't there. I thought Ruben Fothery blocked extremely well. I thought a lot of times he was going up against B.J. Ojolari, but usually against Ali Gay, I think. But it didn't matter. He owned them. And A-Chain, I thought A&M schemed real well. I would see A&M have numbers on the right, and what do you know? They were running right, and all you needed for A-Chain is just to give him a little crease, and man, he was taking that crease. And then you saw Connor Wegman throwing very accurately and fast, getting the ball out on slants and things like that, and he was pretty accurate. He had a couple that were behind Evan Stewart, but for the most part, he was accurate. And then Moose Muhammad, I came away. It's what I came away with from that game. Aside from being really glad they won, why did it take so long for Moose Muhammad to be a factor? Have such a role in the offense. I get it that you had Aniyah Smith. I understand that part, but why wasn't Moose out there with Aniyah?
I think part of what makes Jimbo great and part of his issue is his loyalty in a way. Like, he loves certain players, and those players, it's hard to pass them up unless an injury situation happens. That's what I think it is.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I'm just saying that's what I think it is.
You know,
and I'm not watching practice, so
Moose had the one-handed touchdown catch, right?
Yes, sir.
He had a one-handed catch earlier in the game. So, you can't just dismiss out what a lucky catch. It was like his first catch was out in the right flat, and he brought it in ended up controlling it with 2, but he brought it in with 1. And then he had that one circus catch that he took it out. The DB, I can't remember, Sage Ryan, had the ball in his hands for a split second. It popped up.
Yep.
I thought Moose was spectacular.
I did too.
What Saturdays did you enjoy this year?
This past one.
That's it.
That's it, because I didn't enjoy
Miami.
Miami.
I disagree with you.
Well, Arkansas I enjoyed.
Yeah. I enjoyed Arkansas. I enjoyed Miami. Miami at that time was number 13 in the country. They came into Kyle Field. There was 100,000 people there. Nationally televised game.
I enjoyed it compared.
Yeah.
I don't
think you're getting my point. If you want to, in fact, you can't even disagree with me. This is my feeling.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you.
But you asked me.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm answering it for you.
Okay.
You enjoyed that Saturday. I know you did, because I saw you and we talked about it afterwards. You enjoyed that Saturday. And in hindsight, we know Miami stinks.
Right.
And you were coming off App State, so the week leading up to it was not fun, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about just that night at Kyle Field.
It was fun.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So did the fans. So did I. So did the players.
Overanalyzer saw issues, but I enjoyed it.
We saw issues.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I'm saying though, did you enjoy it or did you?
Yes,
not?
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. And Arkansas too.
Yeah, Miami, Arkansas. I enjoyed Alabama unexpectedly.
Yeah.
That was a badass college football game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Came down to a final play against number 1 from me to you from the goal line. That was high drama. That was fun. I somewhat enjoyed Ole Miss. May have had more to do with the company, but it was a great game against a top 10 team that came down to the final drive.
Yep.
And I thoroughly enjoyed Saturday night. My point is, this is why I do love the SEC, David. Even in your worst season by A&M standards, I had five of those Saturdays that were really, really fun. And I'm not counting like Sam. That was his first game, and we've waited. Everybody loves their first game. But 5 of those Saturdays were really fun. And this team, the wildest thing is that they beat 2 top 10 teams. They beat the number 13 team, and they took 2 other top 10 teams at the time of playing them down to the final drive and final play. So 13, 10, 5, number 1 to the final play, number 10 to the final drive. In 5 of their 11 games, again, I know Sam bumped up. I still consider them FCS. They're in 5 of 11 games, they took either beat or took, at the time of playing them, nationally ranked teams to the final possession at worst. This team had a chance to be pretty damn good this year. This team had a chance to be LSU. They kicked the ever-living piss out of LSU Saturday. I mean, they whipped their butts. And I know, I mean, I watched Arkansas do that to Ole Miss a couple weeks ago. We watched South Carolina do that to Tennessee. And I sat here and said, it stinks that in a whole year, A&M can't put together that kind of game once. And I was wrong, because they did put it together. The 12th game counts as much as the 6th, as the 4th, as the 2nd. They did do it. Now, they only did it once, and that's the problem. But it was nice to see them put it all together one time. But all of that adds to that feeling of, God, where was this all year? It really does. And I know we all are thinking that. Everyone's openly said it. It's right to say. It's right to wonder. But it was also very nice to see this team play like that and to think about what they could be moving forward.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the other way to look at it, just to for context, is what if you shuffled all of these games up? You know, like what if this game was played in middle of October, and there wasn't a 6-game losing streak within the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel differently about it, or is it because the season ended with this high note? And I think that's a fair question to ask as you kind of review the season as a whole. But in this day and age, to be honest, and Billy, I'll lean on you on this. Like, I don't know if you can really judge a season until you see what the aftermath is and how much talent will depart. What does it say about the talent that is staying, which I think is just a as powerful a message as the talent that leaves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the guys that decide to stay and be a part of this, that is powerful. And hopefully overpowers those that decide to move on.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And you know, the vultures were out on Twitter this weekend because A&M lost a few players to the portal that were just going to happen right after the season. None of the 4 announcements were unexpected, and none of the 4 guys played any type of significant role on the football team. That is normal college football attrition that we're going to see everywhere this offseason. For A&M, you watch these key guys. They've got some NFL-bound players that are probably going, but if you could keep 1 or 2 of them, if you could keep, say, a McKinley Jackson, these are the type players you're talking about. Can you keep what's coming back? That is a powerful statement. What statements does Jimbo Fisher make in the next few weeks in terms of his offense moving forward? These are things that can really dial up the reasons for optimism, the reasons for hope and excitement, just like what we saw on Saturday night. And Tom, that team I saw play Saturday at Kyle Field was what I'd hoped, obviously what everyone thought we could see this year, what you hoped you would see. But it was also the team that I thought we would see more of in the second half of the season. Like I in no way would try to defend or say that this team would have been a really good team were it not for injuries, because I think they were not nearly good enough early in the season with the loss to App State, barely beating what turned out to be a bad Miami team, really fortunate against Arkansas, and then to get drilled at Mississippi State. But I thought right through Alabama, right through that 2-point conversion, that A&M was going to be really good in the second half of the year. They had a real chance. Injuries robbed them of that, and there's a reason why that was the healthiest A&M team we'd seen in weeks. Just like the one you covered was without A-Chain, it was without Moose, it was the Ole Miss team you covered was without Antonio Johnson. There were a lot. The flu game against Florida, they were kind of robbed of that. And I think what we saw Saturday was a team I thought we'd see in the second half of the season.
Billy, do you see, because I've had this conversation with coaches, especially the last few weeks, throughout the entire league, programs that are doing well, programs that aren't doing well. Do you sense a difference in the mentality of players now in the NIL era when it comes to finishing the job versus what it used to be? And what I mean by that is, it was always, you would have some selfish players who were in it for themselves, but the overarching, we're in this for the team, and we're for the name on the front of the jersey, and we're going to finish it. And I know that's, that can be trite language sometimes because they're not totally realistic. But there is a sense in the coaches that I talk to that there's a lot more of, hey, man, go get yours. Get what you deserve. And there's this balance in player rights and what the players should be looking out for themselves and how they should be treated versus being part of a team and what's best for the team.
Talk about your very first impression of Boots when you first saw him.
I do a bad job coaching him, to be honest with you, Liucci, because I have such admiration for him and his family. Mm-hmm. And his story is very inspiring to me on where he was day number one when I met him, not just as a player and where he's at now, but I'm just inspired. And a lot of it has never become public knowledge, and I think that that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's a few people that know where he was way back when and what he has done on the court, which is really good. But what he's done off the court, I mean, he's going to was going to get a graduate diploma from Texas A&M, and he was an academic redshirt coming out of high school. And I remember when he came on his visit, he wasn't even at that moment in time, he was not even an academic redshirt. And I explained to him and his family, this is what you have to do in order just to receive a scholarship from here. And if you do these things, you're not going to be eligible to play, but you will be eligible to practice. And we had a tremendous academic advisor there that was very instrumental in helping him. And Boots has just grown. He's grown just as much off the court as he has on the court. And, you know, like when he, quote, put his name in the portal, obviously I worked at Virginia Tech and we loved our time there. And I was very upfront with everybody, including our staff. I'm not going to do anything to recruit any of those players when I leave. That's not what I want to do. That's not how I am. Obviously, COVID was a part of it. He graduated from Virginia Tech in 3 years, which was remarkable.
Wow.
And when I called him after he went in the portal, I said, hey, Boots, if we have to recruit you, I don't want you to come because literally you know everything. You know the whole staff. You know zigzags. You know Seminole drill. You know boot camp. Like if that fits what you want, then I want you to come. And that was pretty much the extent of it. And I asked him if he wanted to come see Texas A&M. And he said, yeah, I would just like to see you guys. I don't have to see the school. So he came on a visit. But obviously, him being who he was on Friday, in many respects, that was the best he has ever been since he has been here. And considering what he had been through the week before in Myrtle Beach, I think that's just another example of the toughness that he has mentally and the toughness that he has physically. And so him being what he was very much an important part of the game. Four being who Four was after Myrtle Beach for sure helped us. Henry going back to being Henry for sure helped us. And I think that Andy, his numbers as far as field goals don't necessarily show it, but his energy and his comfortability with the ball, his presence on the glass on both ends, like we just need to keep going. And this is another big week.
All right, I'm going to allow John Dutton to close out the show.
Hit the like button. Don't.
You think John Dutton's ever watched YouTube?
John Dutton?
Yeah, the real, like, if he
Or
were a human.
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner has, but John Dutton, that character, has he ever been on YouTube?
No, he'd be like, Beth, move that, get that crap out of my face. We got cattle to tend to. We got some coyotes. I've got to go be governor. I don't know. Am I John Dutton in this?
I know, he wears a vest all the time.
This is more of like a Rip vest.
Okay. Rip's a good character.
There's a lot of good characters in that show. There are a lot of good characters in that show.
I told Olin earlier, season 2, now I like it. Season 1, I was like, that's all right.
Yeah.
Season 2, I'm all in.
Oh, are you not even caught up?
No, I just started my marathon like a week ago.
Good.
Yep. All right, it's TexAgs Rewind. Like, comment, subscribe.